Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 25, In Theory. So to me, I look at this episode as kind of a sequel to Data's Day, where the whole episode was basically seen from Data's perspective. And a majority of this episode is as well. Which, by the way, quick note, this is the directorial debut of Patrick Stewart. He directed, I think it was like 5 episodes of The Next Generation, and this is pretty much the only stuff he's ever directed. So it's kind of interesting to see, like, this is where it began, for him at least. Whereas, like, Jonathan Frakes, for example, who was the first crew member, or staff, whatever, cast member, to direct an episode, went on to direct episodes of this. He's directed episodes of Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, Orville, Discovery, Dollhouse. Like, he does all of it. Plus, he did movies. So, Jonathan Frakes is great. Whereas Patrick Stewart, just 5 episodes of The Next Generation. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. So, for this episode, kind of, there's 2 plots. There's one where the Enterprise is kind of in this nebula, and there's little pockets that every time the Enterprise hits one, it basically creates, like, the Enterprise just phases a little bit. And there's a super graphic scene where you see a woman walk down a corridor and then you hear her scream, and Worf runs back, and like the floor shifted a little bit and she sunk down into it, and then like blood starts coming out her nose. It's really graphic. I'm kind of surprised they even did it, but it's an interesting plot. And then towards the end of the episode, Picard has to get into a shuttle and basically navigate them out. It's interesting, but it's not the main plot of this. The main plot is, it's both funny and sad at the same time. It's a little bittersweet, if you will, where Data has decided to pursue a relationship with a human. And so he's been confiding in her, I guess she's been confiding in him, about like all of her troubles and how she's just having difficulty with men and stuff like that. And they decide to try a relationship together. And you kind of watch how this relationship continuously fails because she expects one thing and Data does research to see how he's supposed to react, and then she doesn't like it. Now, part of this episode kind of broke down, for me at least, to is Data doing the right thing or the wrong thing, and what does she really want? Because we know some people, they're not happy unless they're unhappy type situations. And to me, that's kind of how she was coming across in some of the scenes, where she wanted to pick a fight. She wanted that lover's quarrel, and Data was trying to do it, and then she's like, no, I don't want it anymore, and she would leave. It was very confusing. And it's kind of the point of the episode, where Data was just left confused on how he was supposed to interact in a relationship. So this episode also had some flashbacks, not really flashbacks, but some, I don't know, whatever you want to say. So Spot comes back. This is now the second time that we've seen Spot. It's Data's cat. So I thought that was interesting. And then during one of these phases, they're looking at the portholes, I guess you would call it, of the ship. And Data says that the transparent aluminum windows seem to be phasing. Now, this is interesting to me because, for one, the transparent aluminum is a shout back to the 4th movie where Scotty's helping somebody create it back in like 1984 or something. So I thought that was kind of interesting that, again, they're keeping those little tidbits of random trivia in the series. But then when we get to like First Contact and they're in 10 forward, Picard says that all of the windows are actually just force fields. So I think some of this is kind of interesting. If you guys picked up on this, what did you guys think? What do you guys think about Data being in a relationship? What do you guys think about this whole episode as a whole? I like it. I just thought it could have been done a little bit better. So go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you guys next time for the big 2-parter, the season finale, Redemption.